Hello. This video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon and my members over on YouTube. Minasan, arigatou gozaimasu. I really do appreciate your support. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation. It's an exercise that I do every morning, a little bit after waking up. It's now 4:45 a.m. on February 9th, 2024, day 190 in my countdown to retirement. I do this video to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can get a copy of from the link down in the description. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours. I prepare for the coming day, and then I ready myself for death. But before I do any of that, I always like to start off with a poem, and I'm going to reread a poem from a few days ago that I had to table because I had to look up a piece of vocabulary from the collection of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. This is a relatively short poem called Patrolling Barnegat. I hope I can pronounce it right, which I didn't know what Barnegat was. It's a place name. It's a coast section of picturesque coastline in New Jersey. And now it makes sense. There's apparently a lighthouse there, and it's quite east coast. And the poem is about the sea. Here we go. Patrolling Barnet. Wild, wild the storm, and the sea high running. Steady the roar of the gale, with incessant undertone muttering. Shouts of demonic laughter fitfully piercing and pealing. Waves, air, midnight, their savagest trinity lashing. Wow. Out in the shadows, there milk-white combs careening on beachy slush and sand spirits of snow fierce slanting, where through the murk the easterly death wind breasting, through cutting swirl and spray watchful and firm advancing. And then in parentheses, that in the distance, is that a wreck? Is the red signal flaring? Close parentheses. Slush and sand of the beach, tireless till daylight wending, steadily, slowly, through hoarse roar, never remitting, along the midnight edge by those milk-white combs careening, a group of dim, weird forms, struggling, the night confronting, that savage trinity warily watching. So, clearly it's a shipwreck, someone observing it along the coast. And in the parentheses they're in the distance. So two people or one person watching. And by daylight, a group, maybe three, making their way, survivors, castaways maybe, along the coast. That's a heavy poem. Especially relevant right now. I'm reading this book, Chaos. I was reading on the beach yesterday and hearing all that, the flow and the foam and the blowing wind and the clouds and the storm and the waves reminds me of the chaos that I was observing yesterday at the beach, and harkens to what I'm learning in this book. Good poem. All right, let's get on with it. Yesterday and last night, good solid day of work yesterday. It's my last day on for 5 days. I got 5 days off starting today. I did just about everything I needed to do. It's usual suspects didn't get done on the personal side. I'll take care of those today. I'll work on each of those today. The bike, the dogs, and the book. On the work side, I did everything that I could do, and I promoted these 2 items to next week. Nothing to add about yesterday. It was a day like days before. If I hadn't already spoken about the character of the days lately, then I would have lots to say about yesterday. But it was more of the same. It's a very interesting, mature feeling. I feel all grown up. Not a hint of imposter syndrome anymore about being a grown-up adult and father and all of that. I feel like I've really arrived. It took 6 decades to get here. I have such confidence at work now. Even though the essay that I wrote the blog that I wrote yesterday, really you could label that as an imposter syndrome blog. It's not that at all. I don't feel that way. Sure, I don't know IT terms, but it's not my wheelhouse. It's not what I do. It's not the thing that I bring to bear at work. I bring something else to bear. My project management capability, the ability to wrap a project around an endeavor and to see it through. That's my skill. I no longer feel less or than or lacking because I don't have skills that are not something that I would list on my resume. Just nowhere on my resume does it say I can program a computer or spell DBA. I love saying that. So anyway, it's a really, really good feeling. And yesterday after work, I went to the beach, all bundled up. It was cold, and I walked and read, and I felt I had arrived. And so what if I die soon? So what if I don't get to capitalize on this? So what if cancer comes and robs me of this time that I have seemingly ahead of me? I had yesterday. Well, I mean, it will take it away. Death will rob all of that stuff. Oblivion awaits. But then I won't know any better. So that's what yesterday was about. Let's do the good life. The 8 objectives and 35 principles. Today I'm going to talk about one of them called the best seat in the house. I'll read it from the book, the chapter titled The Good Life. There it is. The best seat in the house. And a quote. I have learnt in whatever state I am, therewith to be content. St. Paul. This place and time where I am now will suffice. I will have peace where and who I am at this time, and doing whatever engages my necessity and motive and the pursuit of virtue. Meanwhile, I will also strive towards better ends for myself and others, not as a replacement of my current circumstances in work, but rather as a natural improvement upon these. Simple principle, reminding myself to strive to be content with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing now at all times, also working to improve all of these, striving to do better and be better. We'll be content with where I am and what I'm doing and who I am. It's an interesting balance. The 8 objectives then are to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions, to recognize true limits and true opportunities, to do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, and to keep my balance. Here we go, 35 principles. War, reason, homunculus, anchorhold, home of good and evil, purpose, atomic principle, nature, pirate ride, maturity, social principle, family, public speaking, temperance, life will not go well, the horror show, that which must be born, the feast of woeful, distraction, agency and the great indifference, the best seat in the house, the restless man, the path of wildness, the great life adventure, the risk of avoiding risk, sin and damnation, complete oblivion, the season of philosophy, script writing, the bullseye aim, the uphill climb, arena and utility, nothing is enough, the principle of fun, and being prepared. 35. I can't wait to do this in Japan. Can you imagine what that'll be like? Setting off in the morning and finding a place, maybe a park bench or a rock by the stream. It doesn't have to be in the morning. I can do it anytime during the day. Just my daily accent point along the way of the course of the day. All right, as for today today's a big day for the dogs sitting right next to me, Ollie and Rudy. I'm taking them to a vet to have them their titer test information and rabies vaccine. I'll take them separately, once in the morning for Ollie. I'll take Ollie in the morning and then Rudy in the afternoon. I engaged for a service to help ship the dogs, and I'm really glad that I did. They contacted our vet that we had here in Huntington Beach, learned that it's the wrong type of vet. All the paperwork needs to be filled out by a U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA certified veterinarian, which they are not. Turns out there's not a single USDA vet in Huntington Beach where I live, so they had to find me. They have one in Fountain Valley, or no, Anaheim. That's where it is. So it'll be a bit of an expedition today. I'm ready for the boys. That's what I'll be doing today. That's my main mission. And then, of course, all the other little things. Hoping to start to dig into the photos and start organizing those. It's almost time to start taking this all crap apart. Start getting rid of, burn this life to the ground. Burn it down. I don't want anything left. If it was just me, I would burn everything. The photos, everything, just all gone. It's a liberation to be unsaddled from all this stuff. Everything that I take off, it's like uncovering blinds on a window, that have been in an old house that's been, had big heavy drapes on it where nobody lives, or some spooky old man lives. And every time I get rid of something, I fling open the drapes, pull down the heavy dark shades, and all the sunlight comes streaming in. And the more dear it is, the better. Like this little statue next to me, my little Daruma-san. You're going. You're not staying. And the best thing of all is if I can find is the right word incongruous? No. Ignoble, that's the word. An ignoble end. An ignoble end. Meaning basically, no, it wouldn't burn you up. You've got character. What I will do with him is drop him off at the Salvation Army. Just bye. Anonymous. Gone. Ignoble end. Let him hit the reset button himself, just as I'm doing. Find your own way, little Daruma. I'll keep that photo there. I've always had that with me. There's a few things like that. Probably more than I'd like. I'll ship them over to Japan in boxes. And then I'll take myself, what's left of me, my turn. And then I'll start over without the encumbrance of a lifetime of dross. Am I ready to die? Are my affairs in order? Yeah. Are my relationships sound? You bet. Is my life's work complete? Absolutely. I can die now at any moment without a single backwards glance. No glancing back at my wife and daughter. No glancing back at memories past. No glancing back at anything that I've left undone. Just going into oblivion with a wry smile of irony. And remembrance, brief remembrance as the white light links out of the life lived as best I could. I'll close at that. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care. I will move forward and up. I will rarely stop, and I will never